give me a minute, guys. I'm just checking on online as to how do we close this week after just one game, because Arsenal are top of the table for this weekend, and I like how this looks at least. So Arsenal 3, Fulham nil, or Fulham nil, Arsenal 3. Welcome back to another episode of the North Bank Noise by Arsenalites. First of all, apologies because we couldn't have this discussion over the week on Sunday because we had quite a lot of technical difficulties. But we are here midweek to discuss the Fulham game and to discuss the upcoming match. With us here, we have our regulars Anup, Rane, and Sullivan. Welcome, guys. So let's get right into this match. First of all, Sullivan, what did you think of the lineup?
I was a little apprehensive of the lineup to begin with. We, I honestly expected Mikel to shift to the 4-3-3. I thought he'll go for it from the get-go, considering that's what the eventual plan is anyway. And the fact that we were playing a newly promoted team in Fulham, who don't really look like they have enough of firepower, and with Mitrovic on the bench, I think we looked really, really strong. That being said, I wasn't the happiest with the team, but then uh, in situations like this, we have to trust Arteta. I mean, we had a few defensive injuries, which is probably why he went with the setup that he did. But overall, as a match panned out, I mean, we did start a little bit slow, but then as the game, as the first half went on, I thought we did really, really well. The way we soaked up the initial pressure and then got on top of them and then scored the goals, I thought we were fantastic. And we could easily have had another 2 or 3 goals more. So I thought we did very, very well.
Yeah. Anup, what was your thoughts about the lineup at least?
Yeah, so the lineup, yeah, two surprises. I don't know. I mean, I thought since we got back Danny, I thought Danny would be a starter over Elneny. But yeah, since Elneny kind of played the last two games, so I think Arteta gave him the nod, and boy, he did not disappoint. And the second one was Gabriel. I mean, because he just recently came, and I'm not sure how much he got a chance to train with the team compared to the other, like a Saliba or all. But yeah, again, Gabriel to the starter. I was this like it's his first game, the first like it's his first game and the first game of the Premier League. So I was a little dicey of how he would perform, and why they both did not disappoint. So I mean, hats off from Arteta, to put them there on the spot. And yeah, apart from these two, we had a pretty good strong lineup, and definitely showed in our gameplay. And I mean, it would not be wrong to say that we dominated all the areas of the game. So yeah, the lineup. I mean, apart from those two, it was pretty strong, pretty good for a first game of the Premier League.
I think everybody thought that probably it would be Saliba who was starting and not this guy, not Gabriel in the. I mean, the thing, but that was quite a surprise. But then football is all about movements, they say, and one of the biggest movements was just in the start when there was some kind of miscommunication and uh, Gabriel almost let the ball go to Leno, and that was a good save by Leno. If you actually go to see, that would have been a defining moment. Like that part doesn't go well, and we don't know how that turns out to be. So, Sally, what is your take about Gabriel's debut in general?
I mean, can you have as being a young defender, can you have a better debut than that? I don't
Yeah.
think so. I mean, you score a goal, you keep a clean sheet. It was all rosy for him. Yes, I mean, that initial mistake that he made was bound to happen. It's the first time he's playing in England. It's the first time he's playing with the new team. So much of pressure on his head, considering the hype of his signing for us. So I think, all in all, he had an absolutely stunning debut. I mean, we looked comfortable at the back with Gabriel there. Um and I mean, I still hope that David Luiz comes back to the team as quickly as possible because I still think that he is the main man of our defense, at least for the next 1 year. After which Saliba and Gabriel will probably get a lot more playing time. I mean, this year I don't really think that Gabriel and Saliba will play much together. Maybe in the smaller competitions they might, but in the Premier League, David Luiz is still going to be our main man. So, on the basis of how Gabriel played, there's every likelihood that if we move to a 4-3-3, he's going to partner David Luiz in defense. But
Yeah,
overall, I was surprised and very, very happy at the same time.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of talk this week about how important left-footed centre backs are, and he was comfortable on the ball. His distribution was good.
Yeah.
Yes, and for a person who's moved to a new physical league for the first time, he did really well. Obviously, this was maybe it's a good way to start this way, even though it was a comparatively an easier challenge maybe, but it's a good way to start the match start his
And he
career.
also looks like a massive presence, the blood being the last man. He looks like
Yeah.
that one. That he looks intimidating. When you see your strikers going for him. I mean, against him. I mean, he looks like one of those guys who you really cannot beat easily. That he's got that physical aura about him. Which is definitely we lack. We lack this whole the big physical presence at the back. And yeah, we definitely now in Gabriel, I see that, and I definitely like what I'm seeing. So yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next debutant for us was the new signing in Willian. Rane, what was your take on Willian?
Oh, Villian was good from the get go. He was, and Villian. I mean, we all know what are his specialties, what kind of position, like what are his strengths. We've been watching him for quite some time now. It's in different colors, obviously. But yeah, so we knew what he would be offering, and boy, he did the same. And plus, when he got a set piece, he was right there. He hit the post, he and the corners. It was pinpoint. Everything worked out perfectly for him, and he played accordingly to what Arteta wanted him to do. And he used to get into the box, attack every be very forward, be very forward. He hardly had any passes. I was He was always a forward movement, and that's what we. I mean, that's where our direction is when it comes to attacking. I feel we need those more direct,
Yes,
direct players.
exactly.
It is one of those. He gives us that whole movement of attack,
Yeah,
for the forward, and yeah, he had. I mean, 3 assists. Yeah, technically 3 assists. I mean, FPL 3 assists.
For
Yeah,
FPL 3 assists.
yeah, yeah, I mean, he also wouldn't ask for a better debut than this. So I am definitely looking forward for Willian and more games of this. So yeah, he had a.
Also, I'd just like to add
and
quickly.
yeah,
I mean, with the experience comes a little bit of smartness as well. For his third assist, he had the presence of mind that after I think it was El Neni who was fouled in midfield to
yeah,
run around El Neni, take the ball and put in that crossfield ball for Aubameyang to score. Not too many of our players last year would think of doing something like that. We would just allow the foul to happen and then take the free kick from there and move on. But
yeah.
this is just smartness on the field and reacting to a situation on the field, which comes with experience, and which is why I'm happy with the signing of Willian, despite what fans from his previous club will say. Uh, I love the signing of Willian, and he showed us why the other day.
But I think one of the things, if I noticed, compared to us signing Willian, and when you compare him to signing, say, Luis, Willian had a lot more. The Chelsea fans seemed upset that he was leaving because you could make out that he was a player that they really wanted in a way to stay, and you can see that what he brought to the team yesterday over the weekend. And one other thing what noticed was, as you said, was he brought that extra, a different factor to this team, which was like last season against the smaller teams, we couldn't break the defense. Maybe he brought that. I mean, no
Yeah,
doubt, Fulham's defense was not the best, but he definitely gave us something extra in that final third, which was really good. And at the same time, he brings something which is competition when we are playing against competition for Pepe, which is
yeah.
it's most welcome to have right now.
It's competition not only for Pepe but for the younger
For the
players
young,
as well.
yeah, he's a good player to nurture the youngsters also. So I think the Rane has just dropped off. But Sally, let me continue with you. The first goal, Willian
I'm
had a
here.
part in that. Yeah, okay. Okay, Rani, the first goal that we scored, Willian parrying it, I mean, shooting it towards the keeper, Lacazette scoring an away goal, first of all, that was very important. And what is your take on that first the goal itself? Like,
Yeah, so Lacazette getting a goal is a massive, massive thing for us because he needs goals right now. He needs confidence. Because we know how good he can be. We know how lethal he can be as a striker, and the only thing right now he's lacking is his confidence. I mean, what we've seen, and confidence only comes with goals. For strikers, it only comes with goals. So, and however they come, it it's okay, even if it was a tap in or no. But I mean, him getting the first goal was really good. I felt really good that he got the first goal. Though the main thing about the first goal, what I saw was how not even the first goal, many instances like that where our midfield, like our Shaka, was actually at right at the box. You know, earlier he wouldn't do that. Earlier he would be sitting a little behind, but right now, this game,
He
I
made a
saw
great
him
box.
right. Yeah, he pushed up right at the edge of the box. You know, that's how Oba could, actually find him, and he had a nice shooting chance from there. And the fact that we were also overloading the box, so
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
we had a Willian, we had a Laka there, that is one of the main those were that one of the main factors that we also got the goal. That it was a 50-50. It was just like a deflection here there, and it luckily landed to our striker. And it luckily, yes, it did. But then for that to happen, we need bodies in the box, and that's what we were doing throughout the game, not only this goal.
Mhm.
And that's what counted for this goal. So I'm really glad to see, even for these for during our transitions, in our transitions, we commit bodies, everyone right up there to the box. So yeah, we've also seen that for the third goal and this and that. But yeah, the first goal, it was good pass, vision by Oba and Shaka, and there's good positioning and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting point you mentioned. Like if you see a lot of the highlights or the pictures that have come up, the attacking overload was there. We have committed more than 5 players into the attacking areas for attack, which is very good, occupying all the
Yeah.
channels. So there is a good attacking plan involved here. It's not like before, wherein maybe under Emery say wherein your midfield was disconnected from your attack, and most of our goals came with just the front three maybe creating something by themselves and
Yeah.
getting goals. So it is quite interesting to see it's like a good machine that is working in, and people movement off the ball that is helping a lot. So yeah, that is a very positive thing that has happened. Moving on to the second goal, we had a brilliant moment by Rob Holding, who decided to take matters into his own hands and act like a Brazilian with the way he dribbled. A lot of people are talking about the dribbling part, but one of the things was the way he passed the ball with his left foot to Laka, which won us the
Yes.
corner, and that was something. It's a good sight to have that, and this is not a League Cup match or something. This is the Premier League, and to do that, to get a goal from that, it's really fun to watch. So the second goal came from a corner, something which we are not used to scoring a lot, but I don't think it was much of set piece being too very good and all, but it was just that okay. Anyway, we scored the second debut goal for Gabriel. Sadi got a new set piece coach, so automatically the expectation comes that we'll be scoring more set
Yeah.
pieces and the same. But how important is this, to to take advantage of the set pieces and maybe even to defend our set pieces well?
The thing is, I mean, for the longest time, I mean, we've been a team that barely ever made use of our set pieces. Like, I think
Yeah,
we had one of the worst conversion rates in the league, if I'm not wrong. Uh, like, our set pieces used to pretty much amount to nothing. So the fact that we actually got somebody in to counter that already shows that Arteta is thinking forward and he's trying to, plug in all those holes that we currently have tactically and in the squad and otherwise. Also, he got in somebody who is sort of a set piece specialist in Willian. I mean, we saw it with the free kick he
yeah.
took
Oh yeah, the
and
free
with
kick.
the corner that he took. Uh, Chelsea fans were complaining, saying y'all will get first-hand knowledge, no, first-hand view of how Willian always hits the first man on crosses. Well, if that is what he's going to be doing through the season, I hold my hands up and say I want that to happen through the season. I mean, the corner was inch perfect. It couldn't have come at a better pace. It couldn't have come at a better height, and it showed. I mean, it showed why we hired somebody to concentrate on set pieces and why we hired
Pieces.
somebody like William to deliver set pieces like that. I'm expecting a lot more goals from set pieces this season, either from indirect free kicks, from corners. David Luiz needs to pull his socks up with regard to scoring goals as well. So, and Kingsley in the comments is, I mean, I made a comment saying I don't really rate Rob Holding, but I have to give credit where due. That entire move reminded me of what Henry did so many years ago. I can't remember against what team he did it, but that juggling of the ball while running with it and then making a pass or taking a shot is just a very naturally Brazilian joga bonito sort of
Yeah.
thing. And Holding did it with aplomb, got that pass through to Laka, got us that corner from which we scored. I mean, everything is rosy till such time as
The next mistake.
till the next match. We have to just
Yeah.
continue with the same intensity in the next match. So
That
hopefully,
comes with
hopefully,
confidence. I would like to
yeah,
add.
that's
So
what.
what playing great, that comes with confidence. And earlier, I mean, our defenders come going right up there and giving the pass right at the to the strikers was
Yes, yes,
unheard.
yes, exactly.
Just once saw that, but now it's
Like
happening because
I think the last defender who did that for us was Vermaelen, and before that was Kolo Toure. After that, we've not had
Yeah.
anybody, making those forward runs. So this was great to see.
and they're not scared. Our players are not scared anymore to go ahead. They know there is someone to back them up in the
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
So yeah, Arteta is the man. Yes.
Okay, Anup, since we are on this topic itself about Holding, like just the previous pod that we spoke about, the rumor was of how Holding was linked to the move away from the club and he was supposed to join Newcastle on loan. And now all of a sudden, after the match, Arteta says that, he's not going anywhere. Obviously, even for when we had this discussion, even I said that I would prefer Holding over Chambers any day. But the question was about letting go of defenders and a lot of those questions. But are you comfortable with Holding being here another season? I personally am. But would you think that he's a good solution for a long term, or would you still want to maybe sell him off or send him out on loan?
No, like even last pod we mentioned, even I mentioned specifically before Holding's names comes to for a sale or a loan, there are many other defenders who I would rather give up than Holding. Like there is Socrates, there is Chambers, even Lewis for me. I mean, I rate Holding really, really good, and the fact that Wenger had confidence in Holding. That actually shows why, because he had seen potential in him and this and that. So, and he's
Yeah,
showing it now. He's showing it. It's just that he was just unlucky with his injuries.
Yeah.
Is that
yeah, and it's a major injury at the end of the day,
true?
right?
And he was brilliant before the injury happened. He was. I mean,
Yeah,
what he was single-handedly command all the aerial balls he was meeting single-handedly, and it's a big bonus. It's a big bonus to have in our defense. To have that aerial presence, and Holding gives us that. So I would really not want that to be taken away from our defense right now. And since he's also been a part of a lot of Arteta's games, so I really do not prefer him. And like before as well, I did not prefer him to go. There are many other defenders who would
other defenders, yeah, definitely.
go than Holding. Yeah, so that's my
My only thing is, he's a sellable asset. We get a good amount of money for him, which we can reinvest. That was my only reasoning as to why, I was okay with letting Holding go. I mean, I still don't like rate him as highly as some of you guys, which is absolutely fine. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it.
But I think there's a question from Kingsley saying Holding versus Chambers, keep one, who and why.
I have been,
I
yeah.
would definitely pick Holding over Chambers because I mean Chambers is just not a very good player. I mean he did really well a couple of years ago. I think at Boro or Fulham, I can't remember.
At Fulham
But
as well as Boro, he was good there.
he played well in the central defensive midfield position and not in the
Yeah.
centre back position. As a centre back, I think Chambers is a very
Yeah, he's quite
mistake
right as a
prone
centre back.
defender.
I mean,
Yes,
he's not a good one-on-one defender for
he
sure.
isn't. He isn't.
Even
I
even
would pick
last season
Holding,
when he was.
but if a good bid came in for Holding above 25 million or so, I would. I mean, if I was Arteta, I'd let him go and maybe replace. Maybe.
Because, but like even see, for me also, it's when it comes to last season when Chambers played well, he had a couple of good games as a
Yeah,
right
yeah.
back, but he's not a good right back because the moment he faces someone who's really a pacey winger, he gets beaten. I mean, he's not good enough for that. So, I mean, he's a good utility player, but we already have that in Niles right now, and who's shining right now in that role.
Mhm.
And when it comes to defenders, we have too many bodies in defense, so as centre back. So, and I have always had a soft corner for Holding. I mean, for me personally, he's always been a good defender. People tend to forget that it's an ACL injury. It's not a.
Yeah, yeah.
It's worse than a leg break, to be honest, because it's you lose out a lot. Like I have spoken to people who have suffered with ACL injuries, and you listen to them. It's not easy to get back from that injury. at the level that you were before.
Hmm.
And when we are talking
More than
about,
physical,
yeah,
mental,
it's a mental thing.
more than
True.
physical, mental recovery that needs to be done with the ACL. It's not
And
easy.
speaking of another ACL recovery player of ours is Hector Bellerin. For me, he had a fantastic game. Okay, do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
definitely.
prior to this, again, he's another player who till last week there were a lot of rumors of him being, wanted by a lot of other clubs. But what about? What do you think that it's wise enough to sell him, considering that he's one of the players who will definitely fetch us money? But if you see the way he played it, or not just his crosses, even he put a couple of through balls which were really really good, and his overall play as such was brilliant. I would not like to let go of Bellerin, but do you guys think differently?
See, honestly, I love the guy as well. I think he's a really, really, really good player when he's on form. When he's not on form, he's terrible. But I mean, there are very few days when Hector actually plays to his potential. Against Fulham was one of those days where he was absolutely, as Kingsley says, lit. But then we have more pressing needs in this team right now, and just for that reason, if push comes to shove, then and we get a good amount of money for him. That is the only way I'll allow him. I mean, if I again hypothetically, if I was Arteta, I'd allow him to leave only so that we can strengthen that central midfield position with the two targets that we currently are after at
Yeah,
present. Only if we are guaranteed to get these two midfield targets, will I allow Hector to leave? Not otherwise, because I still think Hector is a great player, and we're not going to get a player of his caliber for the same price that we sell him for. So, but as I said, more pressing needs in the team currently with regard to creativity and everything. So that's the only way I will be okay with Hector leaving. But all said and done, I love the guy. He's an Arsenal man. He's been with us for 10 years now, and he's on a long-term contract with us. He loves the club. So I would hate to actually see him go. Like I hated to see any go.
yeah,
I would hate to see Hector go because they're both pretty much products of the club.
yeah.
So, but we have more pressing needs right now than what Hector can actually deliver for us, which is why I mean, with a very very heavy heart, I'm saying we have to allow him to go. That is, if we need the cash. That's all.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
But I had one thing over here. I mean, if we sell Bellerin, and who is going to be our first choice right back? I mean,
Maitland Niles. We don't have another choice. I mean, we do have Cedric,
Cedric.
but
no, no. I mean, I really don't buy into Cedric being a first choice. Primarily because of his. I mean, he's too short for a right back. I mean, we know those balls. We need at least some decent amount of height over there,
bro,
where
it's not
we.
like Bellerin is tall.
No, not that, but I mean, Cedric is a little. I mean, I've seen the comparison. It was pretty this. That being said, even defensive wise, I would. I mean, Bellerin being an experienced right back, we have him. I mean, at least Cedric, I really don't think he's first team quality. I mean, that's according to me.
He's most definitely not Arsenal team quality.
But
Jubilio is
being
making a great point in the
Being a
comments
good
about
point.
yeah
That
about Bellerin
Bellerin
being a
being a
homegrown player.
homegrown player, so
yeah, true.
He-
Even
which
that,
is, yeah,
according to that, he also being a homegrown player, that's well. And but yeah, even I had a time to think on this where if we sell Bellerin, who is going to be our best? Niles. Yeah, he is good.
Niles in a back four could be suspect also. So
Correct,
Yes,
that is
exactly.
another.
You're correct. And he, I mean, he as a player
But
would be a little unhappy. I feel as a playing as a because right now he's playing in a wing back. He mostly involved in the midfield, and he's
yes,
always when it's attacking. He wouldn't be able to do that if he's a right back in our four
I
formation. So
completely agree.
that's one thing, and that's we do not have a replacement if we. I mean, that's the thing. So I would definitely not let Bellerin go, even if for the amount of money that's there.
Uh, that's fair enough. I have a theory about Cedric though, with rumors of Kolasinac being linked away from the club. I have a feeling that Cedric is just going to be a backup fullback because Cedric can play as a left back apparently. So I feel he will be used mainly as someone to just deputize in case if the left back is not there or right back is not there. I think that will be his key role. But then yeah, if we let go of Hector, then he automatically gets more starts. That is true.
Position, yes.
Okay, yes, Keith has mentioned a good point. I was supposed to keep this for later, but let's talk about it now, which is Emi Martinez has left the club, which was something all of us felt really, really sad about. But then personal ambition wise, he's 28, he's at the prime of his career, and he's a keeper whose stock rose big time over the last 1 month, you can say one or 2 months. Uh, Good decision, bad decision. What's your take on it? Sully.
Necessary decision. I mean, we didn't really have a choice. The man has been so loyal to us over the last decade. He came here as a child. He's grown so much, and we saw what he can do. The man has so much of potential. But nobody's taking the number one spot from Bernd Leno in the Arsenal goal. That is not going to happen. Even though Martinez he literally played out of the world in the last 3 months. I mean, post lockdown,
Um,
he was quite simply one of our best players in the post lockdown, bit
Very
of
so, yeah.
run of games. But that being said, I mean, the man is so good. I mean, he's not going to be happy with second. I mean, being a second keeper
Again, yeah.
at any team. Considering the spot for the national team goalkeeper is sort of vacant for Argentina,
Yes.
and he has a very
And
good chance of
yeah.
I mean, he has a very good chance of claiming that spot as his own. So for that reason, I mean, I was again sad to see him go because he's a really nice, likable guy and everything. But the
Yeah.
man has his dreams and ambitions as well, which we need to respect. So absolutely full power
Could
to
be
him.
the He
I
could
just
be the
hope,
guy who gets Messi the World Cup.
yeah, he could be the guy that gets Messi the World Cup exactly. But that being said, I don't know how happy I am with somebody like Ronarsson or whatever his name is. Because just and I'm only saying this looking at his stats. His stats are worse than Kepa Arrizabalaga, who in my eyes is one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen. He's probably worse than Manuel Almunia. But and this guy's stats are even worse than Kepa's playing in the French league. So I don't know how good he's going to be because what if Bernd Leno gets another injury that keeps him out of the game for about 2 or 3 months? We're going to be very, very light in the goalkeeper position because our third goalkeeper is Matt Macy, who has barely had any playing time. Uh, if
I
I
think Matt
mean,
Messi might be awful. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, nothing is concrete yet, but
Uh,
as of now, he's our third choice goalkeeper. So we're going to struggle a little bit if Bernd Leno gets injured. So that is my only concern
that
because
is
I don't fully trust this guy in goal. Just primarily looking at his statistics. I mean, I don't want to judge the guy before he actually puts on an Arsenal shirt, but I'm just looking at statistics here, and the statistics concern me a little bit. I mean, we could have gone for a more experienced keeper from the Premier League or League One or whatever. I mean, I think Ben Foster was a name being thrown around a little bit. If we could have got somebody like that on loan, it would have been nice. But oh well, I mean, till the guy actually puts on the Arsenal shirt and plays a game for us, I should reserve my judgment.
true. And but I think there's a lot of sense to make in this move. See, first of all, if we have got 20 million for Martinez, we are spending like just 1 or 2 million on this new keeper, and that gives us 18 million to spend on other purchases, other deals, which is massive for us. And second thing is, yes, to be honest, if you look at a couple of years ago, none of these teams there was never an emphasis on the second choice keeper. It was
Yeah,
mainly the first choice keeper who would even play the FA Cup or the Champions
yeah,
League
yeah,
or the Europa
exactly.
League. The second choice keeper would play your Carling Cup and maybe the initial rounds of the FA Cup, or like at the group's end of the group stage when you are through.
You have done your bit.
So you've done your bit. So I think in a way it makes sense because we don't have a lot going on for this. We have a lot of competitions, but I think Arsenal just want to have a number one. That's their main focus. See, Emi was a luxury to keep. It's not
It
going to happen.
was.
And 20 million for that is this thing. So, okay, and Anup, coming back to you now. Now, our squad is currently in kind of an issue wherein with Emi going, we have let go of another homegrown player. So now, if we want to bring in another player, we have to let go of one more. We have to. It goes by saying that if we want to get in one player, we need to let go of two non-homegrown players. If we want to
Hmm.
get two, it becomes three, and if we want to get
Yeah,
three in, we have to get rid of four. Anup, who are you? Who are your first to let go of the club? I mean, we know that the links are there to Torreira leaving already. Other than him, who else would you realistically let go of this in this window, and how would that be?
you're in mute.
Hey, thanks, Ali. So yeah, one definitely is gonna be Kolasinac. I don't see. place for him in the team more. I mean, it doesn't fit in the plans.
I'm
So
sorry,
I
I
think
didn't hear
yeah,
that. Who did you say?
Kolasinac,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's there. And also, since Socrates also is getting decent offers from other clubs, I would let him go as well. I mean, we have players there who, I mean, we can afford to offload because we do have backups over there. And so these are the two main players I would say, we can definitely let go. Apart from there, in the mid, I really don't see much up. I mean, since Torreira is almost a done deal that we hear the reports, so that's the place where we need strengthening in our mid. Defensive or mid, attacking mid, both places. We need depth over there. So these are the places where we need to strengthen. So I mean, and right now defense it's overloaded right now. So if it's going to be the two of them, it has to be from that way. Even three, I would. I mean, even we can let Chambers or someone like that as well go. I mean, yeah, that's would be my.
Sally, if you had to let go of, like, this is a hypothetical situation. We are getting in three players, and you had to let go of four. Who would the four? Who would the four be?
Right at the top of my list, without even batting an eyelid, Skodran Mustafi. Like, the man needs to be
Kingsley
out of
will
the
definitely
club.
agree.
Yes, Kingsley will 100% agree with me. Skodran Mustafi needs to be off our wage bill. Ideally, I mean, I love Mesut Ozil, but Mesut Ozil needs to be off our wage bill as well because that's a lot of money being pumped into one player,
Yes.
which can be used to buy and pay two more players.
Yeah.
So, Mesut Ozil, I feel, needs to be off our books. Socrates needs to be off our books because he's clearly not in Mikel Arteta's plan.
And
It would be
Arteta's
an
plan. Yeah.
absolute waste keeping him in the squad. And I mean, I still want Genduzi to stay because I think he's a great player. He's got bags and bags of potential, and we just may regret selling him one day. But if he's not in Arteta's plans and if he does not have the right attitude to play for this club, I think Guendouzi should be out as well. So I think these four would be my. I mean, Torreira. This is already considering that Torreira is going, considering his deal is pretty much sorted. This is in addition to Torreira.
Okay. Okay. Rani, there's a question from Savio, considering you are one of our football players also. So Savio asked, what are your views on Taka? After a breakout season, it seems with the new players coming in, will he get a lot of game time or how will his future be? I personally am not worried, but what is your take on that?
He's definitely going to get game time. That's for sure. I mean, he's young. He's still very young, and he just has to wait his turn. Right now, the max he can do right now if he's sitting out, he has to learn from the experienced players that are on the pitch. I mean, Willian and you have your Obas and all there. He has to just try and get as much as knowledge and experience. I mean, and that's what any football player who's so young right now in such a big massive stage would has to do is just try and learn as much as you can from your experienced players. And he shouldn't be worried because definitely, I mean, it's a long season. You have
Yeah.
so many competitions to play, and he will get definitely ample amount of opportunities to
Right.
prove himself, and he will not disappoint. That's one thing he's kind of proved.
Proved it.
Yeah.
We know that. So he'll get his chances. He definitely. And Arteta will always keep. Right now we are playing with such high intensity, football that we've seen. We, everyone's running here. I mean, everyone's running for the ball. Everyone's putting their 100%. So I mean, there's bound to be rotation. There's bound to be rotation, and
Yeah.
Saka will definitely get his chance. So Savio, don't worry. He's definitely.
Yeah, and in the
Yeah.
past we've struggled with the absence of squad depth. We've
Yes.
absolutely struggled, especially in that 2008 season, was it, where we were leading the league in December
Yeah.
and we should have won the title that season.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a no-brainer. I mean, I thought we were coasting to the title, and then people just kept
They
dropping
were,
like
yeah.
flies, injured, and our squad depth was absolutely abysmal back then. So we had nobody quality enough to come to replace the quality players that got injured. So I mean, having players like Saka, who's absolute quality, is never going to hurt the team. And of course, in rotation, he's going to get to play a lot of matches.
So yes, a lot of things have taken place. We got Oba announcement also, which was a good announcement by the club. The club keeps trying to make,
Little bit over the
get
top.
something interesting. See, that is the problem. A lot of I personally have been against the thing that a lot of people have been making a big deal out of it, which is there. But it's like in today's generation, you're targeting a certain set of
Yeah,
fans,
yeah, I
like
completely
who
get
are
it.
social media is your the way to get past it. So it's fair enough. No doubt, sometimes the reactions is a bit too much, but that's another topic itself. But yeah, a lot of things have been happening. We look forward to the West Ham game. We'll be covering the post match this time because it's on a Saturday night. Uh, Before maybe we go, let's with the West Ham game. Do any of you have any particular expectation? Do you want to see any particular player or anything that way? Just a brief about that.
I think we had to discuss Elneny.
Oh yeah, that okay. Yeah, we'll close off with that. Was quite an interesting point. I had mentioned his name, but due to time, yeah. If anyone has what do you want to say about it? Then go ahead.
I have quite something to say because that guy surprised me, man. I mean, that's the main aspect about Elneny last game. He was always free for a pass. His positioning was
Yeah,
great. He was there
absolutely on
on
point.
the right side. He was whenever your attackers had any pressure, he was there to receive the ball and just circulate it on the other side and then give it back to them. I mean, and he was also there
He
defensively.
played that very N'Golo Conte role, that
And
winning the
he,
ball back quickly,
Yeah.
sending
he
forward.
reminded me of, that triangle where Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets used to play, where that Busquets used to be that fulcrum there,
Focal
where,
point of the, yeah,
Yeah.
and
correct,
just
and they
No,
would put him. That's what
but I think yeah.
he used to
No,
take the pressure off the other players and relieve it and then circulate the ball. So he played a massive role. So I'm really excited to see, or kind of want to see how he's going to be fitting in if they do not sell him. Obviously, how he's going to be played again. But we have also Ceballos there now in the same room, so I'm not sure if whether he's going to start the next game or no. But it's going to be pretty interesting now with Elneny in the mix as well, and he kind of having these decent games. So yeah.
and as Jubilio says,
Jubilio
best
says best.
digestion in the Premier League.
No, but I think what Rani said is correct. It's more than El Neni. I think it's more to do with Arteta. Arteta has made things very simple for certain players whose abilities are limited.
Limited,
He gives
exactly.
them a fixed set of tasks, which that is what you're supposed to do. Don't do more, don't do less. Just do what is needed of you, and that's how the game plan works. And that is a very positive sign. So I think, guys, there have been a lot of other things going on also. This thing, but I think we can call it. This was a rare
I
midweek.
think
Yeah.
I think two people have spoken. I think Kingsley and Savio have just spoken about
Oh
the recent
yes.
links today about Zaha with Nelson going the other way. Eloy, I think, I mean, Anup and I have been talking a lot, and why want you take this one?
See, I personally don't think that Zaha is going to happen because we have too many players in that position already. Probably this is probably seems to be coming from his camp because he has not he has always wanted this Arsenal
The
move,
move.
and yeah, and it this is the problem. Grealish did the same thing this midweek wherein he signed a new long-term contract. These kind of players, they sign these long-term contracts and later on they realize that the club can't match their ambition, and this is what they try their level best to put in a transfer hand in a transfer request and whatnot. But I personally think that this is Zaha just trying to force himself out of the club. I won't be surprised if he ends up going to a club like, say, Everton or even someone like Tottenham. Maybe okay, maybe not Tottenham now, but even say United or some team like Liverpool. He won't come to Arsenal, but I can see him just getting going to one of these clubs because he's desperate for a move,
Hmm.
and maybe he could make it to one of the top six clubs. Even I don't rate him as much as some people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have something in him to
Um, if
change
if
the
But
it
yeah.
not Nelson. Not Nelson.
if it
Definitely not Nelson.
yeah if it involves Nelson going the other way, it's an absolute no-brainer. I don't
It's
want to
it,
be
yeah, because we
it
already have Pepe in that role also, like so
exactly.
just doesn't make
And
sense to
and we're also forgetting Martinelli, who's out injured. Like
exactly
once
exactly.
Martinelli
So
comes back, we're going to have a little bit of trouble trying to fit him into the team as
yeah,
well.
there are a lot of
So
Trust
factors to be considered in
second
this
half of
thing.
the season is going to be Martinelli show. Trust me,
Yeah.
man. Mark my word.
So yeah, guys, I think now the next big step is the West Ham United game at home. It's on Saturday, I guess, Saturday night or like Sunday at 12:30, if I'm not wrong. Let's see. Hopefully, Mikel Arteta's red and white army are ready to keep us at this, top
top
of
of
the
the Premier
table,
League
so that
table,
come
another three
Sunday,
goals.
yeah, come
That
Sunday we will be
we
googling how to cancel the league after two games.
we should be winning that game. I mean, West Ham's defense looks. I mean, that entire team looks in an absolute shambles. So, I mean, we should win that game on paper and in theory. We should win that game. But football is strange, so let's just hope for the best.
Okay, guys. So thanks for coming, both of you, Anup and Sally. This was one of our, as I said, a rare midweek session because we couldn't have it over the weekend. But looking forward to having you guys on Sunday. We have one of our special guests who had come on our previous session who will be joining us on Sundays. And looking forward to the Sunday discussion. Hopefully, it's a positive one after a victory against West Ham. Okay, guys. See you. Let's meet over the weekend. Yeah. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.